This is Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas. I'm Ashok Vyas, and this is Chelsea, which is known as the central place for the abstract art. And today it's my proud privilege to be sitting with an artist who is an architect, and he loves colors in a way to express himself. Exhibition of Dinesh Doshi ji is titled Life in Motion, and how colors and life and this movement of life has found expression through Dinesh Doshi, who was born in Sudan, or maybe initial years he was in Sudan, Africa, and he studied in Mumbai. His first exhibition in his early 20s was at Jahangir Art Gallery. And now, after so many decades here in New York, sitting with Dinesh, welcome and congratulations, Dinesh.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate for this opportunity that I was able to create for myself and to exhibit here in Chelsea, It's been my dream for a very, very long time, but I was a little busy with the family and family upbringing. So now that I have all time for myself, last 7, 8 years, I'm able to focus a lot more on my painting and go for my passion.
Let's talk about your passion in the initial stages. And you learned formally architecture and designing and something to do with painting also during those years in Mumbai?
No, I never wanted to be restricted about my paintings. So I actually very intentionally never attended any art classes other than the high school level, where I had already won best mural works, and I had a great teacher who really guided me a lot. I was 16 then, and whatever his guidance has put me through this. Meantime, I went ahead. When I was studying architecture, I was studying a lot of masters, world masters, and I grasped what they were painting on, what their concept was, what their subjects matter would be, what their compositions would be. But I never wanted to be restricted because architecture was so restrictive. I wanted to do the opposite. So I never wanted to have any color lessons. I didn't want to have any form lessons, nothing, so that I can be free. And that's what you see in my work is total freedom, total freedom. It doesn't follow any artist, anybody, it just follows me and my expression. And I stand in front of the canvas and I splash the colors and whatever comes. And that's what it is. And that's why I call it motion in life, And it does truly express my inner self,
Expressing inner self is an interesting journey, not only for an artist, but for those who get to interact with the paintings of such artists who look at their artwork as expression of the self. Probably each color represents something, and that representation could be different for different individuals, but from your point of view, if one is to ask you what is it that you are trying to convey by making use of prominently, let's say, blue color or bright yellow color, when you look at your paintings, do you see something being told to you by your work?
The way I look at colors, and I think after I finish a canvas and I analyze it, or I analyze a group of my canvases, orange is all about excitement. Red is about lust and ecstasies. Blue color is calmness. Green color is calmness and being content with myself. So as I paint, I realize in what state of mind I'm in. And some of my paintings, they do come out. Sometimes I use a lot of black colors. That shows when I'm looking and searching and then I'm in some inner depth, not knowing which way I'm going, So it does reflect different emotional state of myself at that time when I'm in front of the canvas, Again, this canvas was painted in 2007. My eldest son got married, and truly it reflected my whole family. As I mentioned, the circle indicated a doll, and the painting's name is Doll. And this is the wife who's getting married. This is my son, this symbol of marriage, according to India. That is the two parents up there, and then these are the three siblings all along here. So three siblings and two parents and husband and wife. This indicates life's rough periods. This indicates jewelry and good materialistic stuff in life. And this is the calmness and all that required. But there are some orange, which are small, small issues in life that you need to tackle and eventually have nothing, no orange in that color. So that's what this painting reflects, you know.
And there is a continuous need or effort on our part to understand life. And when I'm sitting with you and trying to understand your artistic aptitude, and I think family plays an important role in your life. Though this place is known for abstract artwork, abstract may or may not recognize the kind of concept of family which you have. Let's talk about relationship as they connect you with your art. And if I take the liberty of sharing with the viewers of ITV that you, as a young man, found your love in Mumbai, and so that sort of a decision uh, to share your life with someone, and then sharing your expression in the form of various colors, do they interconnect, overlap somewhere?
You know, it's an interesting question. I haven't thought of it, but I'm sure she did bring a lot of excitement in my life. And we're young, we are youthful, we are aggressive, we are at, you can call it cutting edge. And, but I think that could have influenced me a lot in my earlier paintings, where a lot of my canvases were painted based on her, which you don't see in these current collections of mine. But yeah, there was a tremendous influence of my my loved one. Yeah. Which is now, you can see the year is 2012. I'm a lot more calmer. I'm getting more and more focus on my paintings and all that. And the painting is unicorn. You can see the shape over here, eyes and a horn. And basically, you know, I started dreaming of coming to Chelsea, and the paintings reflects that part of my life where
This is Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas.
this painting reflects is called entrapment. And you can see all the serpentines around me. That is entrapped. Again, the year is 2010. I'm still searching. First, I have 2009, an anger management issue. 2010, I'm entrapped very badly, and I don't know how to get out of it. And I'm working towards looking for an answer. And you can see the eyes are very strongly shown, where I call all the circles around me are serpentines, and even my eyes are in serpentine. And the red color reflects a lot of anxiety, and it's not a peaceful looking, but there is a slight use of blue color here and there to somehow balance myself between my inner excitement.
Let's look at the bridge of your refinement of sensibilities as an artist from that point when there was first solo exhibition at the Jahangir Art Gallery in your early 20s, and now here in New York. What do you think has significantly changed over a period of time for you as an artist?
I think one of the, again, I used to be very controversial artist even in those days in terms of my canvases, because they never followed any rules, regulations of art. But now I think I don't know whether I should say matured, but I have really come to such a different level of plateau of thinking and and able to express truly myself without any barriers. I think that's I'm a lot more self-expressive today than I used to be in Bombay. And of course, in those days, we were quite entangled with the social taboos and requirements of how you're supposed to behave, not to behave, among elders, among youngers, among everything. We have so many rules in India, and today my paintings have no rules. And that's how even I live my life, with no rules. I'm done with all those social taboos.
This is quite an interesting area, and I'm not getting into that. Someone claiming to have been away from the social taboos and at the same time respecting family values, uh, because the norm of the society is what gets termed as social taboos many times. Uh, would you like to elaborate when you are?
When I say social taboos, I would mean like you have to do what your father told you to do. You have to do what your mother told you to do. You have elder brother, he tells you to do this. You have uncle who tells you to do this. You have everyone is always advising you something. And I gave up that many years back. And today I'm a true free man. Not today, but many years back, I realized that how much I was restrictive. And today my
Yeah.
painting reflects that freedom.
Many Indian people can relate to this particular experience of being restricted, being advised, and then searching for a free space. So, for you, in addition to not being guided or controlled or following the pattern as instructed, when we just talk about pure sense of freedom, what is it that you may look to define this pure freedom as your experience as an artist who has done away with XYZ things that you just mentioned? So I repeat my question, just in your sense of creative solitude, when you experience a sense of pure freedom, what is it?
Is the freedom of thinking. Really, it's totally about what comes to your mind and how you express yourself. If I'm upset about certain things, I would do a painting, and that painting will reflect utmost amount of that I did not take this step or that step whenever I was supposed to do or whatever. So it's all about, because our mind is so restrictive because you grew up with all these things. And of course, I very strongly believe that I broke it many, many years back, this, this chain around me. And I'm on my way to a lot more and more freedom as I'm proceeding further in my life. And, my painting, I think, truly reflects if you really sit back and analyze them.
The sense of freedom, the need to freedom, the craving for freedom resonates in his words as well as in his work in some colorful way. And that reminds me of some of the singers and writers. And I read the quote of Ayn Rand in some of your. So tell me, in addition to Ayn Rand, who do you think has influenced you, or who you have looked up to for clarity of thought?
Ayn Rand, of course, taught me to be true to myself. And that principle that I read maybe at the age of 20, I still hold true, that I'm true to myself. And I, as you say, as I'm mentioning about the social taboos, but also society's structure, I don't have to follow. So that's what I learned from Ayn Rand, that you are true to yourself, to your art, to your living, to your family, to your love, to your work, to everything. But you are really true to yourself. And that reflects again in my painting, that I'm true to myself there.
Having been a situation where struggles or some challenges of some kind also found their way in your art?
Yeah, I came from a very well-to-do family. I always had it, needed money required. I always had family. I have three elder brothers to me who has always been great guardians and great friends to me. And so I've never had that, but I have a feeling that somewhere along the line, there is something messed up in my brain that I think there is some struggle. I'm not able to pinpoint it. I don't know if any psychologist is going to come and walk in and say, yeah, this is this guy's problem. But I do have every now and then my canvases are disturbing canvases, but not to the point of Vincent Van Gogh. But they are disturbed canvases, and I do show a lot of entrapments and I show a lot of restrictions, even though I always think I'm so free. A lot of my canvases reflect being caught and chained or tied up or whatever it is. And I'm still searching for the answer. Hopefully I'll find it in my lifetime.
So one thing I must say, Dinesh ji stands by, as he mentioned, a sense of truth and sincerity. And if someone is candid and courageous enough to say that there's something messed up in my mind, creatively again, and we don't misunderstand him here, but that courage also helps in understanding life as such. And there are many of us who have experienced some experiences which we have not shared with anybody. Probably art is a way that enables you to express yourself in your true forms, or at least try to recognize yourself as you truly are. Having said that, do you see art have some way of providing or offering a healing touch sometimes? And the kind of world in which we live, where there is so much restlessness, so much violence, do you see paintings or these kind of art forms have some sort of a door of release which might help us in moving towards a better sense of harmony as a society?
Yes, I think definitely I'm searching for my own inner peace here. And definitely I'm heading towards that direction. And I'm still searching for it. And eventually I'll find it. But yeah, there is definitely a struggle to look for that inner peace with oneself, and not to think of the world around, which has gone through a lot of changes in last 1 century. People are a lot more complicated. People are a lot more. So, without saying more about anything negative, yeah, I think this is where I'm looking for my own peace, and to deal less with outside world.
On their canvas. And this painting, which is right behind you, it might have different sort of suggestions that you probably have. And I would request you to share that. Before that, let me just say that as a layman who looks at this painting, you are somewhere reminded of the struggle of Afghan women, or women who are sort of entrapped in some way. And there is this innocent calling for freedom in the painting behind you. How do you see it?
This is exactly what you have picked up. It is my observation since I grew up in an Arab world, and then later on, after moving to India and coming to US, I was again back in Middle East doing projects. And after all the progress that Middle East has made, it has not made any progress in their cultural level, especially in terms of women. And this was my observation when I would be in Saudi Arabia or Kuwait or Bahrain, and that's what it is. And I call this painting, I think it's called the evolution painting, that has, for 2,000 years, they think they have progress, but no, they are still entrapped, and they haven't moved anywhere further. They're still the same 2,000 years back to now, yeah.
So now painted today, and if you see the same painting after certain years, do you see there is something else, an additional layer of meaning coming from the same painting, which you probably didn't notice earlier?
You know what happens? A lot of times, and this I go through quite often, I do relive that period. Why was that painting done? Because my inner self, I know why was that canvas came up the way it came up. So I do relive my moments, you know. So yes, I do reflect my life through the canvases, you know.
And before we conclude this conversation, what has been most encouraging aspect in terms of your journey as an artist from anyone who could connect with your work in a way that added to your enthusiasm?
I hope that everybody can communicate with my paintings, but it's really, truly, it's all about me and my life in this. And I'm hoping that they can interpret it and somehow see some similarity in their lives and find their own peace through my painting. And that's what I'm hoping for. But otherwise, as far as the painting is concerned, it's all about me and myself and my observations and my expression of myself. You know. Again, this painting is called Evolution Challenging. As I was mentioning in the interview, it's about my observation living in Middle East as well as in Africa, where things have really not changed for the women at all. Now, I don't know whether it reflects them or does it reflect me myself, whether I'm entrapped and nothing have changed in my life. Because again, I'm going by the date in 2008. I think I was looking for that change myself, and things have not happened at that particular time. So, as I mentioned, I'm always soul-searching, I'm always analyzing myself, and I'm always constantly beating up myself.
I was talking to Dinesh Doshiji, and as he very honestly said, it's about me and myself, but the way a creative being interprets me and myself with the help of colors and various forms, there is a current of universality in that expression, and if you can resonate with any of the painting, it could be a life-changing experience for you. And the exhibition Life in Motion here at Chelsea offers a special opportunity for you to connect with colors, and looking forward to more such opportunities and lots of satisfying colorful expressions from Dinesh Doshiji with lots of good wishes, and thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
This is Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas.